get into Canvas, we're going to look at a few things before we start this SAQ today. You're going to want to start off going down to today's date. Today, our big goal is you guys are going to summarize some of the consequences of globalization. Same thing you've been doing the project on in an SAQ. Ideally, before you leave class today, you will knock this thing out. SAQ, you know, we've done several of them throughout the year. You've got 3 questions. You need to try to complete those questions and fully answer them using specific information using the ACE format. You've got 12 minutes to get it done. So kind of my game plan today, after we just make some general announcements, I'm going to show you some resources. I'm going to show you some stuff that you can use to study for tomorrow's DCA, because yes, we do have a test tomorrow. I'm going to show you some stuff that you can use if you're taking the AP test, you know, to also get ready. I mean, a lot of it can be used to get ready for the DCA as well. Then we will basically just talk about the SAQ, remind you of some techniques. I'm going to show you some old SAQ questions and some of the routes you could have went. And then the rest of class is kind of yours. It's obviously, you know, a priority to get the SAQ done. That is due today. But also, you know, it's only 12 minutes. You can use the rest of the time to kind of explore some of the resources I'm going to show you, study for the DCA tomorrow. You can also, if you have not submitted your project yet, which was due last night, you could also maybe use the time to get that done. So today, pretty straightforward. Give me about 10-ish minutes, you know, here at the beginning to go over some things. And the rest of the day is yours to more or less do what you need to get done. So today we got the SAQ. That's due today. Tomorrow you do have DCA number 5. That's going to be 36 multiple choice questions. You will have 40 minutes to get it done. On Friday, you got your first notebook check at the 6 weeks. Now, this notebook check should be pretty easy. All it is the Cold War PowerPoint notes and all those notes over those Heimler's history videos. I don't need to see a whole lot for the Heimler's history videos, but I do need to see something from each of the videos that we watched. Before we get to the SAQ, let's talk about the test. So if you will, go ahead and click on the AP World History Unit 7, 8, and 9 Study Guide. It should pop up and look like this. Now, this is something that you know, very similar to test reviews that you've had in the past. This one you do not need to actually complete. Don't want you to. Just want you to look it over. Okay, look over the vocab, look over the events that you need to know causes and effects of. Hopefully that will kind of point you in the right direction as to some of the things that you need to study. Again, a lot of what you're seeing here as far as terms and names, people, you know, events, things like that, same sort of stuff that I've had you do in your notebook assignments that we've went over in PowerPoints. I just want you to know that these are some of the points of emphasis you really need to focus on. So the first part's vocabulary. Try to be familiar with all of that. Second part, cause and effect charts. You know, some of the major things we studied: World War I, the Russian Revolution, Great Depression, World War II, decolonization, the Cold War, the Green Revolution, which comes up a couple times. I would definitely know what that is. And then in general, you know, the project that you just completed, globalization. Again, this is just to look over, to give you kind of a point of emphasis to definitely study in your notes. Before we get to the SAQ, let's look at some other stuff as well. And you can get to this at the very top of the page, right under the Teams meetings. I've got all sorts of AP World History resources. Now, on one hand, a lot of this stuff is more designed to get you ready for the AP test. But guys, they can get you ready for any test in this class as well. Yesterday, I sent out an email with the schedule of tutorials. Again, we're doing after-school tutorials every Thursday up until May the 6th. I also sent out the dates that we're doing the mock exams. Like the online mock exam is going to be this weekend. The first in-person mock exam is going to be this Wednesday. Also, there should be a link to the form that you need to sign up for those things. Again, the actual in-person registration I have here You click on it. It's pretty self-explanatory. They just do ask, that prior to any mock exam that you take, that you sign up using this link at least 24 hours in advance. What else do I got here that could be helpful? Where am I? Okay. I'm going to skip through a few of these things, but I'm going to try to pinpoint some things that I think will be the most helpful to you for getting ready for, mock exams, the AP exam, but also our exam. One of the things that I sent out yesterday was a link to this document. The College Board, the people that actually, make the AP exam, they're starting their live reviews. They did their last one last night, okay? If you couldn't attend live, no big deal. They tape these things, okay? So for the next 2 weeks, essentially, almost every night, they're going to have some live reviews, focusing on different things. Like last night was the first 3 units. We're going to start discussing those in class towards the end of the week. But it just kind of follows that. Later on, they get more into skills. After that, they get more into test-taking strategies, into different thematic areas. Again, this is one of the many resources that you have to help you get ready for the AP exam, help you get ready for mock exams if you so choose. You don't necessarily got to study for the mock exams. The same stuff's right here. Again, that gives you the dates, but I do have a link here. I hate how it does this, to the videos themselves. And again, this will show you every single one. These are going to be live. They're coming up. It tells you the dates there. But this is the first review video that they had. I'm not going to lie, not the most exciting videos, but pretty good all things considered. You also have the option to use old Heimler. I like Heimler better, at least. I mean, he might drive you nuts, but he hits up the high points that you absolutely need to know. Man, my stuff is hopping all over the place. What is up with that? Okay, anyway. You also have Heimler. You got his unit review videos. Obviously, we've got a test over Unit 7, 8, and 9. Wouldn't be a bad idea to watch those. He also has essay tutorials. But the two I really want to show you that I think will be really advantageous, not just for the AP test, but for the test tomorrow. First, you got Freemanpedia, which a lot of his stuff is just pictures and maps and stuff, but they're pretty good. I use a lot of them when we review. But like, let's say, where are we? Our test that's coming up tomorrow is 1900 to the present. So you click on each one of these, global conflict, Cold War, decolonization, globalization, what we just finished. We'll just do, I don't know, global conflict. He's going to have it kind of subdivided out into units, but he's going to have all these really informative maps. That is kind of his specialty. And really just kind of looking over these maps, I do think that it'll really jog your memory. A lot of times he'll have some terms that are worth knowing, some people that are worth knowing. Sometimes he'll have documents, sometimes he'll have art, sometimes he has other stuff, sometimes he doesn't. It's just kind of varies unit by unit. A lot of times he has good links to videos. So this is an excellent source for studying for DCA, studying for the AP exam. One other one I want to show you, though, if this crazy Canvas page doesn't hop around too much on me, and it didn't do too bad, is this website, Fivepool. Now, there's a bunch of similar websites out there, guys. You don't have to use these. But these are the ones that I personally prefer. I think they're the easiest to kind of go around. So what you do is you go down, you look at the different units. Like our first unit in this class is Unit 1. We'll review that here soon. But let's go all the way to your first unit that the DCA is over, Unit 7, Global Conflict. You click on Unit 7. And then for each major kind of subcategory, he's going to have, or they're going to have a little page. If nothing else, look at the overview. I mean, the overview is pretty good, especially if you've forgotten some of it. It'll give you a good introduction. It'll go over some of the key things that happened. It'll go over a lot of the major trends. And then there's all sorts of practice questions and stuff like that if you want to use them. Again, I think especially if you use the study guide to kind of direct you and look over your notes, but also look over something like this, I'm telling you the test tomorrow is going to be a lot easier, and studying for the AP exam is going to be a lot easier as well. So again, those are just some resources. Also included like an AP World History vocab document, which it's okay. It's a little bit older. It's actually from our older curriculum, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it includes a lot of stuff that you don't necessarily need, but it still has the majority of what you need. Again, it's got it in English, it's got it in Spanish. Something definitely worth checking out at some point if you have a chance. So DCA tomorrow, 36 questions, 40 minutes. Study some of the materials I showed you. You should be fine. A lot of these materials also will come in handy, and we may reference as we're getting ready for the AP exam. Now for the most immediate concern, and again, Canvas is already being troublesome this morning. Let's look at the SAQ itself. But before we do that, let's look at a sample. Now, this is something we've done before. I like to sometimes break out older SAQ questions we've done, ones you've already completed, and then look at them together and kind of see, hey, what directions could you have went? And one of the big things that I always stress is use the ACE format. Guys, on the actual AP test, that's not mandatory. There's other ways to approach it. But in my mind, the ACE format is probably the simplest way to go. It's something that certainly, you know, if you fulfill each part of it, you're going to get the points every time. The big thing that people are lacking right now is they're not being specific. Guys, all this crazy vocab, you know, all these terms and names that we're always doing. The reason we do them is so you can use them in things like this, okay? You got to have something specific. If it is vague, I'm not going to give you credit. Even if you're in the ballpark, you need some sort of specific term, name, person, place, idea to really anchor the rest of your SAQ. All right. So you don't have to access this. You can if you want, but I'm just going to kind of show it to you real quick. Threw this together today just because I figured, you know what, let's review. It's been a little bit since we've done an SAQ. So these are a couple questions. Can you guys see all right? Okay. I won't bother turning off the light. These are a couple questions from the one that we did a while back, last 6 weeks, from World War I. And again, I just want to kind of show you how you can use this ACE format to really write an effective SAQ. ACE, if you recall, stands for answer, clarify, and expand. Okay, 3 sentences, maybe 4 if you want. I wouldn't go much more than that, though, because on the actual AP test, you've only got like 1 sheet of paper. Yeah, you're going to have to handwrite this stuff. You got like 1 sheet of paper for each of your sets of SAQs. So you don't have enough time and you don't have enough room to just write as much as you want. 3, 4 good sentences with specific information, that's what they're looking for. These are not essays, they're SAQs. So ideally, the first sentence, you just answer the question. Hey, the answer is this. You can fluff it up a little bit, but the answer is this. Second sentence, you clarify. If you introduce a term or name, tell me what in the world that was. Tell me what it means. Define it if you can. And then after that, that's the gravy. That's what really sinks in the fact that, oh yeah, this person knows what they're talking about. You expand on it. You bring up a little bit more detail. You try to connect it to other historical events. Okay, that's all it is. So let's look at this together. One of the questions that you had was identify and explain one specific cause of the First World War. Who can give me one specific cause? Don't be afraid. Say it loud. Okay. The assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand, that would work. That's your answer. Then you got to build on it. You got to tell me who he was. You know, he was Archduke of Austria-Hungary, and you know his death set off a domino effect of alliances that caused the war. That would actually be enough. Okay, that would work. What else? Does anybody remember that acronym? MAME? Militarism, very good. What would the A stand for? I actually just said the word on accident a second ago. His death kicked off a domino effect of what? It starts with an A. Groups of people that are friends, that have each other's backs. What is it? You're killing me here? Alliances, very good. What about I? It's going on a lot in the 1800s. Africa, Asia, the Europeans were all about it. Something we talk about all year, but we just didn't really have a real solid name for it until like the 1800s. All it means is building an empire. Imperialism, very good. And what's that other one? The N, the one that's all about that extreme national pride. Oh, well, kind of just gave it away. Nationalism, very good. So you've got some very, very concrete things that you can use. Okay, those are academic vocabulary. Those are things that we've learned about in this class that you can use to anchor your answer. So what I did, I chose imperialism. That just, was the most obvious. One specific cause of World War I was the rise of European imperialism during the 19th century. Boom, nice. But that is not enough, because I don't know that you know what imperialism is. You then have to clarify it. Imperialism is the process by which one country directly or incorrectly controls another country or territory using political, military, or economic means. That works. That probably, honestly, is enough to get you the points. But you want to put more. If you know more, put more. Okay? You don't want to go insane. You don't want to write an essay, but try to bring up some more details. Just in case, I'm on the fence. Or if you're on the AP test and the grader's on the fence, it's that last part that really seals the deal. So give me a little bit more detail. And here's what I did. It's nothing really crazy. It's pretty broad, but it at least puts some specific players on the board, explains it a little bit better. During the 1800s, countries like Great Britain, France, and Germany competed to establish colonies in places like Africa, South and Southeast Asia. I don't know why I read it like that. While they gained access to new foreign markets and natural resources, the competition for colonies led to a deep level of animosity, which made war inevitable. Again, was the E absolutely necessary? Probably not, but it made it a better, more complete answer. So if you can do that, do that. This is about as long as I'd have you go. Because like I said, on the actual AP test, for each set of these, and you usually get 3 questions, you got about that much room to answer all of them. So 3-4 sentences, that's kind of the model. That's what you want to look for. Let's do one more. Identify and explain one specific effect of the Paris Peace Conference at the end of World War I. Anybody know an effect? I mean, what ended the war for real?
The Treaty of Versailles.
Treaty of Versailles. Boom. Very good. And that's what I went with. One effect of the Paris Peace Conference was the creation of the Treaty of Versailles. That's great. But what in the world was that? Treaty of Versailles officially ended the war, placing sole responsibility for the war on Germany. That's pretty good. But why? How? What did that do? Why is it even important that Germany took the fall? Now, this one's a little bit longer, but I don't know. I got carried away. France and Great Britain wanted Germany punished. That is important. You got to remember the big 3, the U.S. and the U.S., Great Britain, and France. They had different agendas. The U.S., Woodrow Wilson didn't want anybody punished. But France, they wanted revenge. So did Great Britain. A lot of France was destroyed. So they really got their terms met more so than the U.S. and a lot of other countries. And a lot of it was punishment. They wanted Germany punished, as they had done most of the fighting for the Central Powers. Germany lost territory, had to reduce the size of its military, and pay the Allies $33 billion in war reparations. This destroyed Germany's economy and national pride, paving the way for Hitler and the Nazi Party to come into power in less than 20 years. Again, this is not the most eloquent. Some of you guys write better than that right now, but, that kind of fits the criteria. I mean, that's the sort of thing you need to be able to do. So pretty straightforward. I will tell you the globalization one is pretty broad. Be as specific as you can. Again, it's open notes. You can use the PowerPoint that you made. That's fine. Just keep in mind, you don't have time to look up every single thing. All right. You got 12 minutes. You'll have 3 questions. It's almost always identify and explain something. So make sure you're doing both those things. Best practice, look over all 3, do the one that you feel the best about first, that you know the most about first. The ones that you're like, I don't even know what this is saying, save that for the end. That way, if you don't get to it, it's not the end of the world, because maybe you wouldn't have done well anyway. As long as you complete this, and I see effort, and you answer the questions, or attempt to answer the questions, the worst grade you can get is a 55. But that's if you turn it on time, and that's today. From there, each question you get correct, I'm adding on 15 points. So you get one of those correct, you get a 70, you get another one correct, you get an 85, you get another one correct, you get your 100. Also, keep in mind, like all of our writing, I look past your mistakes, especially there at the end when you're just trying to kind of add in some details. If you have enough right in your SAQ, if you're off on a little detail or a name, I can look past that. So, especially in that last part, if you think you know more detail, put the more detail. Again, as long as you have enough right in there, you're still going to get the points. Any questions about the SAQ, how to do it, what to do? It's 12 minutes, so make sure before you start you're mentally prepared. I would look over those video notes first, personally. Maybe glance over your PowerPoint, but that is entirely up to you. So for the remainder of class, goal number 1, go ahead and knock out that SAQ. Technically, it is not due until right before midnight tonight, but you know how it is. You say to yourself, I'm going to knock this out as soon as I get home. Then you get busy and you do other stuff and it doesn't get knocked out, okay? For some of you, it does. Many of you, it does not, okay? You don't want to have to stay up late and try to get this in right before midnight. Just get it done while you're sitting. Once you're done with that, look over some stuff. Look over your notes. Glance over the study guide. Maybe go up there. I'm telling you, that Fiveable site has some excellent overviews. At the very least, you get a jog in memory. So I'd maybe start there and then kind of move your notes and see all the notes that we took from World War I, the interwar years, and World War II, and the Cold War, decolonization, and all the stuff you did over globalization. And once that's done, that'll pretty much be the end of class. If you feel super good about the SAQ and you knocked it out, you don't need to study, although you definitely do. If you're not done with your project, please get that in today. If you can get it in today, it's only 20 points off. That is not the end of the world. This is a major grade. The longer you string this out, the less of a grade you're going to get. Other than that, the rest of the class is yours. Stay busy, be productive, and if at all possible, try and knock out this SAQ before you leave. If you need anything, please let me know. We still got about 30 minutes left, so that should be plenty of time.